This is Breezy, my golf game where you control the wind. Now, you might be asking, how are there turrets in a golf game? Well, this is how. The turrets are part of a brand new effort to dramatically increase Breezy's replayability by overhauling If you don't remember, Remix Rush is the mode in Breezy where you play 10 randomly chosen levels in a row as 10 random characters. It was fun before, sure. In fact, it was fun enough that I would sometimes boot up Breezy to play a few rounds, but I needed something to spice it up. There are a few ways to do that. I could add multiplayer, but keep in mind that I'm trying to get this game out by summer or earlier, and that includes trying to get a publisher. Multiplayer is much better left for a post-release update or a Switch port once I have all the single-player content done. I could always just add a bunch more levels and characters. That has the same issue though. Plus, a huge roster of characters would end up feeling samey. This isn't Smash Bros after all, and there's only so much you can do with golf. I ended up picking an idea that had been rolling around in my head for a while. Random modifiers inspired by the items from Mario Kart. This brings some of the wacky, chaotic energy of Mario Kart's multiplayer to the normally tame single-player gameplay of Breezy. It's also a lot less time-consuming than adding a bunch of levels. When I'm really on my game, I can make 2 levels per day. That's one world every 10 days, assuming I'm only taking 1 day to make all the art, music, and assets. For comparison, I added the first 3 modifiers in the same day. What are these modifiers, you ask? Good question. You've already seen the turrets. 3 of them spawn in the level and constantly aim at the player. Once the turret locks on, you've got a split second to escape before it vaporizes you. This may seem overkill, but remember that the ball in Breezy is constantly moving, even on a slow stage. There are some stages where you're forced to move slowly on a boat or other moving platform, however, so I made it so the turrets would only be able to vaporize the ball when it's being hit. As for the other modifiers, a few of them are more simple. This one decreases gravity, and this one greatly increases the strength of the wind. This one turns a normal camera into a side-on orthographic camera, which really makes me glad I didn't make something like this the default camera. This one has a tornado to the level that slowly moves towards the player and sucks you in. And that's all I've got so far. It has only been a few days after all, but I'll probably end up with around 15 in total. I'm already feeling the difference whenever I play Remix Rush though. Not every level has a modifier, so each normal hole makes me breathe a sigh of relief while simultaneously getting me hyped for the next one. Speaking of the next one, what else have I been working on? If you've kept up with my Game Jolt page, you'll see that I've been adding all sorts of cute animals to the game. I've added something to every stage, so let's go through them. The grass course is the only one without something new. It's had these butterflies for a while, and I used the butterflies as a baseline standard of complexity for each of these animals. Some simple animation, maybe some basic pathfinding, and most importantly, simple and cute graphics. For the beach course, I obviously had to add crabs. In fact, I actually managed to make the cutest crabs in video game history. I just can't stop looking at them. No. The crabs have a very simple pathfinding system. They just walk left and right for a little bit, then switch directions if they're about to fall off or touch water. They really add a lot of motion and life to the beach course though. The ice course has these icicle bats. These guys are probably the most creepy out of all the animals, but they're still pretty cute with the way they flap around and fall back down as icicles. Animating them was a fairly straightforward process, and they just ease into their next position and rotation naturally. The city course has moles. They're just dancing moles. What'd you expect? We've got little boom boxes. Look at them go. They're just moles. The disco course probably has the weirdest animals since these aren't actually animals. They're roller skates. Dancing roller skates, actually. They have a few preset dances that they do every once in a while. I had a bit of a problem with getting their positions to change naturally though. I tried the apply root motion option in the animator, but this was after I had already animated the dances, so it didn't work properly. Finally, I had the idea of manually calculating the position offset after the animation and reapplying it on the exact same frame the skate returned to the idle position. Works like a charm. I also had to figure out what to do when the skate left the ground. It would look weird if it just kept dancing, so instead, it does this. Finally, the volcano course has these particle trail guys. They're actually supposed to be sirens, or baby salamanders. I stylized them so that they'd stand out against the lava. I think they actually work pretty well when combined with the giraffes and red rocks. The sirens are constantly running in circles on top of the lava, and they jump right before colliding with the ground. All in all, these animals add a lot more life into the game. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Beyond these updates though, I have a few more things that are ongoing. Under this innocent-looking Polish tab, I have the most hated list known to man, the to-do list. To-do, of course, coming from the Spanish todo, meaning all, because look at all this work. Admittedly, most of it is pretty simple. I've grouped the list into bugs and features, marked by exclamation points and question marks respectively. The more punctuation at the end, the more important it is. I think this is a pretty useful system just because it's so easy to just jot things down. I have a batch file that opens OneNote, GitHub, Unity, and Visual Studio all at the same time, so I never have to spend time opening the notebook up. I talked about this in a video a couple weeks ago, but until now, some of the levels in Breezy were just straight up impossible with certain characters. I talked about the game design behind this in that other video, but I'll talk about what specifically I implemented today. My solution was to add a warning when playing a level with a character that makes it impossible. To do that, I had to play through the game, and the bonus levels, with every character, so that was fun. While I did that, I had Visual Studio open in another window with a list of levels that each character made impossible. Once I tallied up each level, I went back into Unity and listed the impossible characters under each of them. The process only ended up taking 2 days, but it easily could have taken 2 hours. That takes us to the game's ending, fittingly one of the last things I'm making. I've mentioned it a little before, but Breezy's main ending involves an ending cutscene and a credit sequence, with both of them having their own song. The credit song is certainly the hardest one in the game for a couple of reasons. First, there's the practical one. The credit scene will include a section where its main melody is repeated in the sound fonts of the different courses, similar to Mario 64. This takes a while to make since I have to think about how each instrument was used for the original song. The main reason though is a technical one. I recently got a new computer and the module files for the old songs are there, but not the samples, which are scattered throughout my downloads folder, which I didn't bring over, and various other areas of my hard drive. Because of that, I ended up looking for the sound font files and transferring them over, converting them into samples again, and just importing them directly into OpenMPT. If you watched my video about the programs I use, you might remember that I suggested to use Forzando for these sound fonts. However, with some exceptions, it's not too much of a hassle to use them directly as long as you remember to tune the samples. The credit scene is almost finished, and once it's done, I'll be able to make the ending cutscene theme. Then I can make the sequences themselves, and the story of the game will be complete. It's weird to think about the full game of Breezy actually being done, but we're pretty close. By the next devlog, I should be finished with the story, and hopefully well on the way to a finished trailer. Once the trailer is done, the Steam page should be up shortly. Then the marketing frenzy begins, as well as, maybe, securing a publisher. These things sound simple in theory, but they are complicated by the fact that I have so many other things going on. Summers are always my most productive time for working on the game, not because I have less work, but because I have the most flexibility in the time where I can work. When I'm in school, I'm doing useful work maybe 30% of the time, largely because I'm spending a lot of time waiting for due dates the next day or just the next class. These waiting periods are sometimes large enough that I'm able to work on the game, but often they're there, but small and pernicious. That's why summers give me a chance to work at near 100% productivity, why I made the Ice, City, and Disco courses all in one summer, but took 2 months to make the Volcano course. I'll be heading up to college soon though, and I'm interested to see whether or not that gives me more time to make games. Now, don't take this the wrong way, but I'm trying to get done with Breezy before I get up to college because I'll probably be much too interested in projects there to be working on games. I'll be doing things that I actually care about at school for a change. Believe it or not, I like to make some things that aren't games sometimes. That's enough rambling though, and I'll probably make a whole video on this topic after Breezy is done. That's what I've done so far. Thanks for the overwhelming popularity of my last couple videos. Okay, maybe not overwhelming, but it's nice to see. I hope that trend continues into the Breezy devlogs, which will make marketing a lot easier. If you want to make my life even easier though, try subscribing to the channel. I say try because I don't actually know how much my sub count would affect anything, but it will be interesting to see, and I don't think a video with almost 1,000 views matches up with 7 new subscribers. Until then though, have a good day.